Hello and welcome back to Section D. We're here at Blackmore Barbers in Brighton, and today in the chair we have Matt Davis, aka Mr. Slipz from High Focus Records. What are we doing with your hair then, mate?
If we can get a skin fade, please, maybe like a 6 on top.
6 on the top,
yeah,
bro?
Yeah, beard trim as well, that would be amazing.
You got it, man.
So much, man.
No stress, mate. All right, man, so not that you need much of an introduction, but why don't we start by you telling us who you are and what you do?
I'm basically a producer, I guess. You could put me in the category of hip hop. Yeah, just a beat maker, work with a few rappers. As well as that, I'd say I'm very into digging for records and generally just a fan of hip hop culture and you know, other artists as well.
So you're a bit of a record collector as well?
Yeah. Physical albums definitely help support artists a lot more than Spotify and streaming platforms. There's something about having an album there, the artwork, you know, looking at it. When you put it on, you can't really skip through the tracks, you know, it's a good opportunity to really take something in. Digging for records to sample that, it's a big part of my process because it kind of like, it feeds, you know, the excitement and the motivation of then going to the studio with these records and making something happen. It's just an important part of the process that has definitely played a significant part of creating my sound.
Alright, man, so I want to start right at the beginning. So the earliest record of your career I found was Team Verbz, which was a group formed by yourself and a number of other artists. Can you tell me a little bit more about what your career looked like before Team Verbz and then how you made that leap?
Before Team Verbz, I was just kind of making music at home. It was more of a hobbyist approach, so I was into it. I was fascinated by it and wanted to learn more about it, you know. I had an MPC XL. I was just kind of like learning to use them and exploring making music like on hardware and putting stuff on SoundCloud and eventually through the SoundCloud community started talking to a few people. I met a producer called Cloud9 in Bristol who was based here. He was working with people like Concept of Thought, Benedict, M Cozy. He put them onto my stuff and we started all messaging on SoundCloud and sending each other beats and they eventually wanted to start a label here in Brighton called Yoga Cop Records. So
sick. I
took the plunge and moved here and linked up with those guys and we just started working on mixtapes and basically that's how Yoga Cop and Team Verbz was formed.
How long did you guys stay together making music?
Well, we kind of, that's a good question. Like, we still make music together. We'll make beats with Illiterate and if anyone ever wants to make music, I'm 100% there. Naturally, like the evolution of being a musician, like other opportunities come up and your sound can change and people are kind of focusing on that, you know?
Yeah, of course. So let's talk about you and Verbz. I feel like you guys have really hit a sweet spot with your collaboration, man. You both really work well together.
Yeah.
What is it about your chemistry, do you think, that helps you create such good music?
That's a good question. I think we've spent enough time with each other. So we know each other really well, like outside of like the music world, you know, making music, we're also friends. We've seen all the colours of the rainbow, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
We've had disagreements, we've fallen out, we've had amazing moments, and I feel like our relationship is honest, and with that, I think comes the ability to, you know, just work well together. If he's like, oh, I'm not really feeling it at the moment, I can just work on other stuff and this, that and the other, and when he's feeling it, we jump back in, you know, and
sick, man. So it's tough out there, man, as a creative, as I'm sure you're well aware. I used to play in bands, as I mentioned, and especially in the early days, it was, you know, very competitive. It was tough. Is there anything you'd say to an aspiring producer in the early stage of their career?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that the two biggest things of advice that I could give, the way I've thought about it is, it's not even for the early stage of your career. It would be like probably throughout your career as well. Like I'm still having to practice this a lot as well. It's the first one is just to show up, you know, like every day. Like the only way things can go anywhere or can come out or be released or get finished or the seeds, you know, get planted, the ideas is to actually show up and go and make the music. And you know, with that comes success and failure, and with success and failure comes lessons, you know. So one day you show up and you might make some stuff that you're not really feeling. The next day it could go the other way. But yeah, showing up even after work, after a long day when you don't feel up to it, you know, because most people will do their 9 to 5 or will work their job and then they'll go home, and if you're putting in those extra hours, you're gonna get ahead. You know, you're gonna make more music. Yeah, showing up and patience as well. Like I feel like, you know, nowadays we live in such a fast world, you know, like people want to do very little and
get a lot
and expect a lot. So with the patience and with the practice, you really can home in and you can learn. Like you never stop learning, and you've got to be prepared to be humbled and for people to go, oh, this is not very good, but that's how you improve ultimately, you know. Like
100%, man.
It's like, it's not like that piece of work isn't defining you forever, it's just the start of something, you know, a discography of music. So
for sure,
you've got a chance to redeem yourself, you know, later down the line if you need to. But yeah, man, showing up and patience, I think.
Do you have a preference of how you work? So what I mean by that is, do you prefer to bounce off other people like rappers and other artists? Or do you prefer to just get into your beat laboratory and just sort of on your own and just focus on that?
The best thing for me, I'd say, is to maybe like work with a rapper in the room. Like I hate this whole like, yeah, send me some beats thing, because it's like, well, come to the studio, you know, there's a mic there, like something could happen instantaneously, like, you know, it's like, yeah, you're gonna listen to some, probably play the beats off your phone, listen to them for 30 seconds, you know, and then 6 months later, a year later, nothing's happened. So yeah, you know, no disrespect to any rappers out there, but that is a thing. You know, I feel like when someone comes to the studio, you kind of get more of an idea of what what they want. You can work together, you can start making something. You can just play them way more beats than sending them some beats, you know, so you can kind of get a feel for what they actually like, what pockets they like to hit. My first album with Verbz, he came down, and the plan was to like make a song, you know, like, and we started going through a couple beats, and he was like spitting verses, and I was like, yeah, let's record that. And you know, by the first day, we'd done 4 tracks. He was like, can I stay here and we do more tunes tomorrow? And I was like, yeah, of course.
Bro.
Then the next day we did another 4 tracks. And then on the 3rd day, we kind of like got some choruses in, that some of the ones that needed choruses, and sort of made an intro and basically formulated an album, you know.
Sick.
So yeah, it's
that maybe might not have happened if you were just going back and forth over Messenger and sending
Mate,
each other.
if I'd sent him some beats, nothing would have happened. That's what I'm saying, it's so important, and I don't understand why more people don't do that, you know. You look at like great bands historically, great, you know, duos. There was no internet, like one was, they were just rocking up, you know.
You get into a room together and just hash something out, don't you?
Yeah. It's good working, you know, if I'm making a beat, I'd rather sit on my own and do it. I don't mind sending few stems here and there to producers, like if I'm working with them, but ultimately I like to try and finish the beat with them, you know, in a
man.
room. I think it's good to just generally work with people in the same room.
In the same space.
Yeah, 100%.
Sick, man.